welcome to this edition of the 2024 NWBA Intercollegiate Women's Wheelchair Basketball Media Session. We're joined by personnel of the University of Texas-Arlington Moving Mavs. So if you do us a favor and just state your name and your respective position with the team.
I'm Lizzie Becker. I am a sixth-year senior here.
I am the head coach, Morgan Wood.
Perfect. All right. We appreciate you both taking the time out of this to chat with us for a moment. I'll have a couple of questions. My broadcast partner, Alex Booth, will as well, and give it to the rest of the media present here. So start out with both of you on this, but we'll start with Coach Wood. What is your assessment of your team at this point heading into the national tournament?
I think right now we've really taken the steps one at a time, and we're ready to peak on Saturday.
Yeah, I would definitely agree. We've gradually gotten better each tournament, and we're really excited coming into this tournament. So, yeah, it'll be really fun.
Now, Liz, I notice, so you're now a senior at this point. You're also a broadcasting major with a minor in creative writing. Does it feel weird being on the other side of the camera, being asked questions with this?
Yeah, it's definitely different. I'm used to, doing the interviews and stuff. So, yeah, it's fun, though.
Absolutely. So, Coach, you graduated from UT Arlington back in 2017, and several of the coaches that we've talked to already were able to get hired right out of college to be the head coach of their respective programs. So not the case with you, but you were able to come back to Arlington and be in this position. What does it mean to you that UTA has trusted you to lead the program?
I feel like they've already put their trust in me to lead the program before. I was the first athlete as a woman ever at UTA. Yep. So it's a full circle moment for me. I think that although I was gone for a good chunk of time, I think that I never really left. Mm-hmm. So that's really where we're at. I feel like I'm at home. So I don't feel like anything's changed. So.
Now, obviously, Arlington being one of the prominent suburbs of Dallas, and certainly we could go on and on about Jerry World, Texas Rangers, and all that. Is there a favorite element to the Arlington, Dallas, Fort Worth area that sticks out in your mind?
It's a melting pot. I'm from Tennessee, real close from here. I'm only 4 hours north of Tuscaloosa, so that country life was really kicking before I got to Arlington. But Arlington, you're never going to meet the same person twice. So it's definitely a melting pot. Dallas, Fort Worth, you got the country, you got the city. So I love it, everything about it.
Liz, certainly Charlotte is way different than Arlington or that area. Anything stick out in your mind as a favorite of the city?
Well, I was born in Dallas, so I lived there for about 10 years. So coming back as an adult, one of the biggest things that reminisces with me is the Texas Rangers. So I grew up going to a bunch of games and stuff like that. So doing that and seeing the Cowboys Stadium and everything, it brings back memories. So.
So, Coach, this year, number 2 seed coming into the tournament, first round bye, and part of that as well. The only team that it seems like you've had Alabama's number, kind of, or trying to chase after them. Especially one of the last matchups that we covered out in Tucson, which that incredible match that was back and forth. So, heading into this as the number 2 seed. You guys want another crack at the Crimson Tide?
Of course. I said I'm from Tennessee, so if that doesn't give you a hint of what's going on here, that's from birth. So, but yeah, I have a lot of friends who graduated from the University of Alabama. It's always been a huge rivalry, so it's fun. I live for this stuff. Been there, done that, so it's a good time.
And Liz, certainly from the broadcast standpoint, we don't necessarily hear the chirping that goes on the floor between the teammates and everything. In terms of the matchups you've had against Alabama, are there any fun memories or any humorous moments that you can remember from the times you played Alabama?
Not particularly. I've been here a while, so I've had a lot of matchups against them. So each game is very intense. There's a lot of going at it at each other. But, at the end of the day, we're all, friends and, can crack jokes, outside the court. But inside the lines, it's competition, and it's can be pretty pretty rough. So, yeah.
Absolutely. And Coach, we mentioned with the first round bye, you guys are playing on Friday at 4 p.m. and you'll be awaiting your opponent either in Cooney or Illinois. Is there a major difference in your preparation based on whichever team is set to advance and play you in the semifinal?
I think that our game plan allows us to really moderate what we're doing. I think that when we start with the little things, what we've been working with all season, there's not much change. If you're an athlete, you're a D1 college athlete, and you can make basketball reads and you can do the fundamental 5 things that we've talked about all season, then you can win either one. So,
Liz, we've talked with several other players throughout the day about these sort of locker room culture and kind of things that are behind the scenes with the players, and certainly it's the majority theme we've had is a sense of family, a sense of unity and such. What have you felt? What is the sisterhood of the Moving Mavs meant to you throughout the season and throughout your career?
It's been amazing. Like since, especially this year. Mo bringing in a bunch of new freshmen, new blood, it's cultivated a really positive culture, and having freshmen that really want to change that and make it for the better has really helped us really unite us as a sisterhood and stuff like that. So like that's I think why we've been able to get better each game and progress. So it's made a big impact on me as I'm leaving, and like I'm able to see the program leave. Like, I know it's going to keep getting better and better and better, so.
Absolutely. All right, Alex?
Hey, Coach Wood, y'all were here last year for Nationals, and you were able to advance to the championship off an incredible double overtime semi-final win against Illinois, where you were able to come out 72-67. Just what was the experience like in that game, just being able to come out on top of such a highly competitive game that took 2 overtimes to find a winner?
Yeah, I think Illinois is a phenomenal team, first and foremost. They have a phenomenal coach in Steph Wheeler, who's been around for a long time. We prepped for that moment. Lizzie can speak for that. We knew that it was going to be a battle when we got here, but that's the game that we wanted to see, right? Those games that are high intensity where the person who works the most will win, that's the games that you want to see going into the national championship. And I think persistence was at its finest for us. We really, really went into that game almost feeling as if we knew we would win, and that's not a cocky attitude, that's preparation. So.
And Elizabeth, just playing in that game for you, how are you able to carry that experience over to this tournament? Has that experience been helpful in knowing like we are able to execute what we need to execute in our game plan down the stretch in close games?
Definitely. I think it gave us a lot of confidence, and it gave us that experience that we knew, like, okay, Mo prepared us for this, so when we come into, like, that situation again, we're prepared, we're ready to go.
And Coach Wood, Harmony Rudas has been one of the most incredible freshmen I've seen across the country this year in women's wheelchair basketball. Could you just speak a little bit about her and just how she's come in year one and just been such an instant impact for your team?
Harmony's an animal, absolute animal. She has that grit that you don't find in every athlete. She sleeps, breathes, thinks basketball all the time. She's goofy as can be, but when it comes, to being on the court, there's no funny business about it. She works hard, and I mean she's done that all season, and she just continuously gets better and better, and her as a freshman is really, really positive for us. And I think the biggest thing about Harmony is that she brings people up with her, and I think that's what helps our culture, like Lizzie was talking about. But something that Lizzie probably doesn't know is that she led that path. You know what I mean? Our seniors lead that path for Harmony, and I think it's given her the outlet to do what she has to do.
And Elizabeth, just being a captain on this team, being a leader, for you, how is it like being out there on the court and kind of keeping a calm head during all the competitiveness and intensity of a game?
Honestly, for me, it's come with experience. Like, I came in as a freshman, literally shaking in my boots. Like, I didn't know what I was doing. But having people like Mo, who was actually one of my teammates, seeing their example and seeing how they handled really stressful situations has helped me lead my teammates and show them, okay, we need to be calm, we need to, settle down, and yeah, all of it really is just experience.
Coach Wood, just watching UTA play this year, it seems like y'all really invite physicality to the game and are willing to almost make it as physical game as it could possibly be. Is that something that is preached on in practice and practiced on as well?
Absolutely. It's grit, right? That's what you're looking for in D1 athletes. That's why you bring them to your school. So I think that being a fundamental person with an attitude is phenomenal on the court. That's what really pushes you not only physically but mentally ahead of your opponents.
And offensively, we see the ball in Zoe Voris's hands a lot. Can you just talk about kind of the calming presence on the offensive end of the floor Zoe Voris can be?
Yeah, Zoe Voris is one of our top-notch scorers on offense. She's very poised, and I think that's what we need, especially when we have, the harmonies and our more physical athletes on the floor. Not to say that Zoe isn't, but she really keeps her composure well, and I think she's a great leader for our team.
And just in general, both of you could answer this question from a player and a coach's perspective, but what is it like having that first-round bye as the 2 seed? And what kind of advantages do you feel like come with having that bye?
I think it kind of gives us some time to, game plan, kind of, feel things out, like having time, not enough, like too much time, but like, I don't know, it's kind of nice, having that confidence boost. We're like, okay, like, we don't have to, play another game, stuff like that. But
yeah, I think it helps you work out the jitters. Coming into a national tournament with 6 teams, it's always stressful. Everybody's anxious, but it also gives us the confidence that we are the number 2 seed, and we deserve to be at the top, and we're going to have to continue to work for it.
So, Coach Wood, earlier you mentioned talking about how you have your players walk into games like they've already won them. What kind of mindset are you pushing onto your team as they're going into this weekend?
I think it's a confident attitude. Really, over 50% of this game is mental, right? You get to go out here, play the same teams, right? You play on Team USA international teams with some of the best, right? So I think that you have to come in with this sort of swagger about you, right? That's half the battle. And I think that going in like that, knowing that as soon as you get on the floor that you're going to go 100% mentally and physically, that gives you an advantage every time.
How do you think that sort of swagger and that sort of confidence has led y'all to where you are today?
I think we're a completely different team than we were last year. We're not the same team. I think that people notice, and they should, right? That's the attitude that we need to have. You want people to know that you're here, right? Because if they don't, then you're not important enough, right? We're ranked number 2 for a reason. So I think it's a lot different, but it's a lot of work, and that's why we're number 2.
So, Liz, you talked earlier about how a whole lot of freshmen are coming up. What sort of standard or expectation as a leader on this team are you setting for those freshmen?
I think one of the biggest things is persistency and consistency, as something as Mo said, and not letting up. Like, don't, just because we might be playing a team that we know that we're going to win, playing them how we would like a team like Bama or Illinois, like not letting up and keeping a foot on the grass, like keep going, and letting those expectations not, like, keep raising the bar. Like, the entire season we've kept having to raise those expectations because the bar has had to be raised,
So this question is for both of y'all. The last time I've seen y'all play in person, y'all were the first and only team to be leading Alabama at halftime. So with this idea of not letting up, how are y'all going to go into the game with the reigning national champions, not letting up and going the whole 4 quarters?
I think it's good that our girls know that, right? We've actually preached to the girl, I and my assistant coach, John. Not only are we the only team to lead Bama at half this season, but that's been a few years now, right? So it's a confidence booster, but it's also a reality check. I think that we have taken one step at a time. You know, our previous games this season were not like that. So I think that shows the growth and that shows the persistence that we need moving into the tournament.
Yeah, I think. Yeah, I don't have anything else. I had a thought, but then it left me.
Well, I don't know.
One more. You know, you walk into this gym, you see those banners hanging. I mean, the 3 in a row, 6 and 9 seasons. Is there any added motivation, you'd say, knowing that, you know, you guys are the team with the most likely shot to break up this run, make sure they don't get, 4 in a row? Is that something that's just there in the back of your mind at all coming into these games?
It's not in the back. It's in the front. Got anything to say about that? That's the only thing we're thinking about.
Yeah.
Right? That's the only way we can get to the top is if we go through them all, right? So we got a lot of work to do in 2 days. So.
No, I'm good.
A question for each of you. Most players or teams talk about wanting to get their team in a groove or into the flow. When are the Lady Moving Mavs in a groove? How can you tell when you're there? What is it? What's that tempo? What's that thing that happens when you guys are playing your best?
I think the biggest thing is when we're communicating well, when we're communicating loud and not just at each other, but with each other. When we're moving the ball up the floor, when we're crossing, when we're doing the fundamentals, when we're doing the things that we need to do, really working within ourselves and working for each other.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Do you feel like you guys are stronger when it's up-tempo or when it's a more half-court type of a game?
Probably for us, I think up-tempo. Yeah, tempo is a big thing for us, so we like to move the ball fast.
Okay,
Yeah.
Coach, a question for you. It's exciting these days that there's some new women's teams, and we hope to continue to grow the women's division. But it's also exciting that we have some programs that have laid the foundation and have created atmospheres on their campus to where their team is embraced by the campus at large. And I feel like that's the case at UTA. Mm-hmm. So I'm wondering, in addition to winning championships and games and putting a quality product on the floor, what else happens at UTA that helps build the strength of your program as an important part of that campus community?
I think that UTA is really, we're kind of the core of the wheelchair basketball in DFW. It's a pretty great place to be, especially in the summer, mainly because we have a lot of Paralympians that come into town, a lot of Paralympians that live in town. And I think that because we have the community support, that allows us to have that foundation, whether we have money or this or this or this, right? It's always been a place where anybody could come and learn to be the best. And I think that that's what really puts us in that category. And I think that, the community around the Dallas area, we didn't just learn that from UTA. We learned that from the Dallas Mavericks and the Lady Mavericks. Those people have been around for years and years, and they taught us that. And just like for the Lady Moving Mavs, we learned from the Moving Mavs. We took traditions from the Moving Mavs, and I think it was so ingrained, that family values type community, that has allowed us to be where we are.
Coach, you're fortunate enough to have 3 athletes on your team, including Liz sitting right next to you, on the preliminary roster for the Paralympics to try and go to Paris later this year. How fulfilling has it been for you to be able to play a part in coaching some of the nation's best?
It's been awesome for me. But I think that, I don't really think about myself in those scenarios because they did that, I'm just here to help mold and help guide. I don't put in that work. They do that work. And so I think I'm always proud. I probably don't say it enough. But I think that, I'm grateful for the position that I'm in, just to be a part of the community most of the time. But all that credit goes to them. that has nothing to do with me.
Liz, I'll kind of have the same question you of what does it mean to you for the United States Paralympic Committee to recognize you potentially as one of the nation's best and for you to potentially go to Paris?
I mean, it's an honor. I've tried out for several tryouts by this time, so to be able to make the first cut and be alongside a bunch of really phenomenal athletes, like it's super fun, and just to see the culture of USA change over the years too. It's just been really cool to be part of. So I'm super excited to see what the future holds.
So you guys alluded to this with Theodore's question, but I'll ask him more specifically. It's been now 6 years since UTA brought a national championship back to Arlington. So we'll start with you on this, Liz. What would it mean to you to win a national championship in your senior year and bring it back to Arlington?
I don't know if I could put it into words. I think it would be pretty indescribable, just being here for 6 years and meeting a lot of really great athletes and just seeing the whole journey of my career just unfold and develop. Like, I've grown so much as an athlete, as a student, like off the court and on the court. So I don't know. I know no matter what happens, I'll be in tears. Good and bad things have happened, but I'm super excited, like, just be like where I am right now. So.
And Coach, you were certainly part of that 2016 national championship team. So what would it mean to you as a coach to be able to bring that championship back?
So I said at my first one that I would never feel that way again, and I don't think I will. And then in my second one, I didn't feel the same. But I think this one, if we get that opportunity, I may feel completely different than I ever have. It's not for me anymore. You know, I'm in this position because I wanted people to feel what I felt in 2016 and 2018. And there's not another feeling like it. Yep. Championships are forever.
Absolutely. We thank you both for your time, and best of luck to you this weekend in the tournament.
Thank you.
Thank you.